Mic check, mic check. All right, cool. How we doing, everybody? Hey, Ariel. That's crazy. Our puts are actually about to print. All right, gonna give it about one more minute here. Alrighty. Let's dive into this here. All right, so taking a look at NQ. Ha ha ha. Things worked out in our favor. So we got puts on Friday. The market is down 300 points, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner. So these puts are easily going to be up. Let's just take a look real quick. That's actually insane. Yeah, so Qs are currently at 520. So these puts are easily going to be up over 300, 400% at open. And currently taking a look at this, so we got the close pretty much back below the daily new day opening gap that we got back from, what was that, Thursday, I believe? Might have been Thursday of last week. 22nd was the date loads. 22nd was Wednesday. Okay. So yeah, we pretty much are pushing down below this gap. The main reason why we even got in shorts was if you see this daily breaker block right here, um, notice how we got the rejection here, and then we closed back below that daily volume imbalance. That pretty much gave me confluence of, okay, we're seeing the rejections. And then if you look down at the lower time frames, this right here was like the screaming like, oh, buy puts and buy time. So pretty much because we're looking at a daily level, you want to wait for an hourly, at least an hour change of state delivery to actually short this, which we got right here. So whenever we broke below that equilibrium block, offered the retest, and price literally shot down pretty much. It was like in the last 10 minutes of that candle, that pretty much 100% gave you confirmation. Short me, short me, short me, short me, short me. And we actually ended up closing below the new day opening gap. Now, the only downside to this is we don't really have a top wick. So because of that, the market oftentimes does like to create that top wick. So if we do end up seeing some bullish price action during overnight session and we get a change state delivery, wouldn't be surprised if we actually do push all the way up. Hopefully price can stay down long enough to where we can actually exit our position with at least probably like 300% at open. But obviously if price does retrace back up, we'll probably be only able to capitalize on like maybe probably like 150% possibly. Just depends on how far we retrace up. But going back to the daily, let's go to the weekly for a second. Okay, so taking a look here at the weekly, we do have this weekly volume imbalance. So if price does manage to actually close below this range next week, then we pretty much have confirmation we are going down to take out some form of weekly sell side. However, this is the start of the weeks, and we have a lot of data. We'll go through that at the end, but there's a lot of data, and we have big tech this week as well. So, because of that, expect a lot of volatility. There is going to be a lot of opportunities. So, if you miss a trade, don't feel the need that you have to just jump in and find a trade because with the volatility, a lot of opportunities are going to be presented. So, let's go ahead and mark out some of this weekly sell side here. We still have these relative equal lows as well on the weekly. So don't forget that. So if we do manage to close below this pretty much 21,600 range, this is where we're going, straight to those relative equal lows. So something I personally like to do is actually mark out the time frames in which you're finding the sell side from, because if you are like a more so like a scalper slash day trader, whenever price does come into like a weekly sell side liquidity, don't be surprised if a liquidity sweep does form and you see some type of retracement. So it's pretty much opportunities that can be found, especially if you're trading the lower time frames. All right, so looking at this, did I choose the wrong one? No, that is weekly. Okay. And then we have this daily sell side down here. We also have this fair value gap that hasn't been tested. So wouldn't be surprised if we actually see a lot more downside. It's really just going to depend on this, how the start of this week goes. If we do manage to close back up green, I've seen some crazy things happen before in this market. So just because we're down 300 points, don't be surprised if we push all the way back up 300 points as well. Pretty much what would give us confirmation of that would be a change state delivery over this bearish fair value gap that formed, or if we manage to close above this volume imbalance. We pretty much see any of those things happen during overnight session. Very likely we come back to the top of this range and put in a wick. But taking a look at this for now, we're really just gonna have to wait for close to get better confirmation. Um, but obviously, if we close like below this daily volume imbalance and things of that nature, then we pretty much have confirmation we are coming down here to take out the sell side liquidity at 21,377. Let's take a look at ES. ES could honestly paint us a better picture. So ES is honestly in the same boat, and none of these levels are accurate. All right, so ES is pretty much in the same boat. If we close below this volume imbalance, we will see a lot of downside. If we manage to hold the volume imbalance and pretty much push back up into that new day opening gap, then very likely we see more continuation up. And we're fairly close to all-time highs on ES, not so much on NQ. NQ, we still have this massive daily fair value gap to really push through. And the fact is that we didn't take this buy side liquidity where ES did is pretty much giving you more confluence to see downside. Pretty much have some SMT going on the daily time frame. Now let's go check out Bitcoin. Let's see how we're doing. All right, so Bitcoin is dumping down 1.4%. Looking at the daily of Bitcoin, we did get a change of state delivery. Once we close below this range here. So now pretty much want to see if we can actually get like a market structure shift. Well, technically we did here, but this is more so like a 4-hour market structure shift. Ideally, I would really want to see it close below this order block here, pretty much at 99, pretty much 100K. If we can get the close below that range, we are definitely going to see some sell side liquidity taken. And with that being said, we got coin. Coin looks like it swept liquidity. It instantly rejected that volume imbalance on the daily time frame. And honestly, it looks like we got a gap to fill as well. Okay, so we do have a gap down here pretty much at 266, 265 range. And let's draw this trend line. Uh-oh. We got the trend line break as well. And Bitcoin looks like it's shitting the bed. Alrighty. Well, coin is definitely going to gap down tomorrow. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we do get the gap and go set up. And we took buy side liquidity at that 303 level. Actually, no, that was pre-market high. I actually love this setup. We could even add some more confluence here. Oh, now I really love this setup. Oh my. Oh yeah, this is on top watch this week. Coin puts. Coin puts. All right. So we got coin. We've already kind of went through the daily outlook and weekly outlook for NQ and ES. I'll have that posted shortly. This looks pretty much like the same setup. So whenever we're watching coin, if coin is too expensive to trade, just trade Mara. It does the same thing. And if anything, Mara looks better for the short than coin. Coin on Friday actually kind of did what we expected it to do to go up to that 310 level. Mara, for the hand, kind of hasn't really been having the greatest strength. So pretty much same thing for Mara. As coin. If we close below this trend line here, which we are pretty much going to close or open up below, look to pretty much short this down to about 19. And then you also have this gap fill here. And honestly, a move like that would be, let's see, 7% down day for Mara, 7% on weeklies. Uh, we'll probably profit like 140, 150%. Taking this to the gap fill just depends on how far down we open up tomorrow. Nvidia took liquidity, got the push down, pretty close to this gap fill. See what the hourly looks like. All right, so we're right at it. Really just depends on how the market opens, because like I said, if NQ does manage to offer an hourly change state delivery and we do push back up to pretty much put in a wick, that would also mean the video would likely hold this trend line and probably see expansion back up, maybe into like this 146 range. Obviously, if we close below this trend line, then easily we come down, take out sell side liquidity pretty much at this 137. Actually, we can check on what NVIDIA is now. So I'm pretty sure NVIDIA trades 24/7. Oh, well, NVIDIA is 7% gap down or 5% gap down, down 7 points. So next sell side would be 133. Oh, let's see. I think coin might trade 24/7 as well. Yeah, so coin is currently at 284. Um, all right, so we still got sell side down to 273. So even with the big gap down, we should still be able to capitalize on at least like 100%. And if we really get to this gap fill, then that's like major payday. What else looks good? Where's Apple or Tesla? We actually got earnings this week for Tesla, and we also have Meta earnings. All right, looking at this, definitely looks like we could see a pullback, but it really just depends on ER. And honestly, their numbers have been pretty decent, and I wouldn't be surprised if they actually beat. Haven't really played Lotto in a long time, ER Lottos, but I think I'm taking Tesla calls. 29th. What is that? Is that Wednesday? Yep, it's Wednesday aftermarket. All right, so honestly, if we keep dumping, I will look to buy some calls towards the end of the day once premiums are like drastically decayed. And then we can even trade an ER run up, which could potentially just be NQ really retracing. But basically, if we can capitalize on at least 50%, pretty much you would sell half of your contracts. And technically speaking, you could leave it as runners, or you sell 75% of your contracts and leave the last 25%. And technically speaking, you would have a free position. So that is a possibility. All we need is about a 50% gain on this, and leave runners, leave 25% of our position, and we have a free trade. If they beat ER, great. If they don't, also fine. Technically speaking, you couldn't lose money on the trade. What a trade. And honestly, NNE could probably even push higher. Datadog, inside day. All right. Um, so we will pretty much be watching in terms of common stocks. If this thing goes up. All right. The video gapped down too much to really trade coin. We can still catch a good trade on it. Mara and D-Dog. So D-Dog, we got an inside bar on the daily. Pretty much trade whatever side breaks out. More so leaning towards the downside as we have nothing but a series of lower highs and lower lows. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Pretty much signaling we're in a downtrend here. We did get the gap fill, so that is something to keep on watch. And we pretty much have sell side down here at this 134 level. And then we got more sell side down here at 124. Coin, rejection 618, trendline break to the downside. Bitcoin's dumping, so pretty much watch that. And then Mara, same exact setup as coin. Pretty much we're rejecting the 50%. So because of that, very likely, and we got the liquidity sweep as well on a daily time frame. And notice how we're all of these bodies are closing. None of them are closing actually above the previous pretty much pivot point high, buy side liquidity high that we needed to close over. So if we did end up getting a body close over 2060, then yeah, we would have seen more upside. But the fact is that we didn't. This is looking like a liquidity sweep with the trend line break, pretty much equals payday. And then we have a gap fill down here as well, down to 1850. I'll run through NQ as well really quick. So NQ, pretty much we need to see the close below this daily. If we can close below this daily volume imbalance, then we are likely to see some downside come in and potentially even retest this daily order block that formed and pretty much look to potentially get some buys down here from this range. If we do hold up above this volume imbalance, then very likely we are going to push back up, potentially put in a wick here on this new day opening gap. And the gap down that we have, we pretty much gap down what, like 150 points. And as we know, all gaps have to get filled. So like I said, looking at the lower time frames, if this hourly ends up closing above this volume imbalance here, then very likely we are going to see pretty much retracement back up and likely fill in this gap. Does anybody have any questions or any tickers you want me to take a look at really quick? And same situation with ES, pretty much the same chart as NQ. And also more confluence to downside is there is SMT on the daily time frame with ES and NQ. Alrighty, actually, let me go through the financial calendar really quick as well. All right, so Monday, new home sales at 10. Tuesday, consumer confidence. Wednesday, FOMC. FOMC on Wednesday. Oh my, that is Christmas Day for any futures traders or option traders. But you do have to wait till after the options actually get decayed. So high key during FOMC, I would suggest traders trade futures opposed to options because the option contracts are going to be inflamed with IV. So pretty much, let's just say one or two strikes out the money, especially even during 2 o'clock, would be maybe 300 bucks on SPX. But because of FOMC, it'll probably be like 600, 700 bucks. So if you are going to trade options, I would suggest you kind of reduce risk and take profits because FOMC is very volatile. So literally, you could be up 100% 1 second and literally be down 50% because of how fast FOMC moves. So remember, on Wednesday, take profits. Do not be greedy. Take profits. Um, Thursday, we have GDP and unemployment claims. and Friday core PCE and employment cost index. All right, so we will be live trading Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Monday and Tuesday, we will likely be live trading on YouTube. So I will see you all tomorrow morning. Make sure you subscribe and have notifications on to see when we go live.